Hi, I'm Ani from Vet Tech Tips, and today we're going to be talking about ear mites in cats. This guy named Boots is a barn cat. He's my neighbor's barn cat, and he visits my place, and we've noticed him shaking his head, scratching, really getting and digging at his ears. So we had a look. I had a look in there, and I noticed that he likely has ear mites. So what I can do at home with him, instead of taking him to the vet, if you need to save some money, you can treat these ear mites at home. So one thing I can do is, the first thing you want to do is try and decide whether it is ear mites in fact, because cats can also get yeast infections, and yeast infections require a different type of treatment, but they look very different. So ear mites will look, if you look in their ears, you'll see black and crumbly debris. So let's just see if I can show you that here. So let's see here. That ear is kind of clean. Let's look at the other one. Yeah, here we go. So let's have a look. I'll show you what you're looking at here. So you can see in his ear, he's got a lot of black and crumbly debris. And that's a sign of ear mites. That's sort of ear mite waste and blood. Whereas another condition they can get is a yeast infection, and that's more of a creamy brown looking. It looks creamy and brown, and it sort of has a smell to it. So I have a feeling these are mites. Another way we can do is we can actually take a cotton ball. You can take a cotton ball and dig some of that crumbly stuff out, and if you look at it really closely, either under a magnifying glass or even on a piece of paper, these guys are big enough that you can actually see them, and they're called otodectes. Now fortunately, I have a daughter who loves science, so I bought her this $30, $40 microscope for Christmas one year, and this, you can actually see the mites on that as well. Okay, so let's just start. First thing we want to do before we treat these guys is we want to clean their ears out. So there are a couple of ways you can do that. You can either do it with olive oil that you have on hand at home, or almond oil. Almond oil is a little bit better. I'm going to use olive oil today, but if you have almond oil, that's probably better. Or you can get some ear cleaning solution that you can either get at a grocery store. This I got at the veterinary clinic because I'm a tech and I had some of this, but you can buy ear cleaning solution at a store. So you want to take a cotton ball, and literally you're just going to clean, you're going to go in with that cotton ball, and they love it because they're so itchy, and you can clean that out. Now you could wear gloves. I could have gloves on, or I just wash my hands very well. This isn't something that we can catch from cats. It's called otodectes, and it's a mite that cats get. And most cats will get them probably in their life at some point. So I'm just cleaning out some of the gross debris right now, just most of it at the surface before I use my cleaner. Now you can use Q-tips if you're a vet tech and if you have experience. If you don't, I really recommend sticking just with cotton balls, because you can go in too deep with those, especially if your cat's a wiggle worm, and you can puncture the eardrum. So I do suggest that you stick with a cotton ball. Now you could, if you had a syringe or something, you can put a few drops of olive oil in their ears. So let me do that right now for you. And we just put a few drops in there, okay? And then, once those drops are in there, we want to make sure that we rub that ear. And they love it. Until you hear a sound. You'll hear a squishing sound. Hear that? Right? And the cats love that. Now, be warned, once I let go of his head, he is going to shake. So this is loosening up all of that debris that we saw. And he's going to shake. So I like to put a bit of a towel or something over their head so that when they shake, I don't get it everywhere. So they shake a bit. I'm going to do the other ear, because the other ear is what's super dirty here. And as I said, there's other ways to do it. So if you didn't have olive oil, if you had ear cleaning solution, some people like to actually take a cotton ball and soak the ball with the solution and just use that and squeeze that in there. Some people, there's lots of different ways to clean their ears. And this ear seems to be worse than the other ear, so I really want to make sure I hear that swishing sound. And as I said to you before, cats actually quite like it because they're so itchy that, now that's unless you have a cat that's been scratching for a long, long time and they've really hurt their ears, then you have to be very careful because they might find it somewhat painful. So here I am, I'm hearing that squish, squish, squish sound. Now, you have to know that ear mites, the life cycle of the odectes, or the ear mite, is about 21 days. So you have to treat them a couple of times because you want to make sure that when you kill the mites the first time that there aren't any eggs there that can then lay and come back. So you want to treat them either, oh look at that, you want to treat them a couple of times in the week for about 3 weeks. So you don't necessarily have to go through the cleaning every time, but you want to put some olive oil, about 5 drops of olive or almond oil in their ears. But cleaning them out is great because it gets rid of all that debris, and then when we get to the treatment, it can really get down to the mites. And olive oil, the olive oil suffocates the mites, so that's how it kills them. And that's why you want to make sure you get all the debris out so that those mites don't crawl down deeper. And remember, this black stuff is not mites, this is debris. Okay, so now I've cleaned them out. Now I'm just going to put about 3 or 4 drops of olive oil in each ear and rub that in again. Oh, he says, I'm losing my patience with you. Huh? Yeah, there's still quite a bit of olive oil in that, so I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to put a little bit more in this one because we've wiped most of that out. There we go. Okay, so I want to do that maybe a couple of times this week, 2 to 3 times a week. Just put some drops of olive oil in their ear and do that for about 3 weeks, and then your cat should be as good as new. Those ear mites are gone. Okay, thanks. Till next time.